Get out! You don't belong here. Brad Morrison's fist smashed into Sam Washington's face. The 72-year-old veteran staggered back. Coffee hit the floor. Quarters scattered. Know your place, old man, Brad spat, towering over him. Sam touched his burning cheek. His American flag pin glinted under the lights. The diner went dead silent. Every phone came out. Recording started. This looked simple. Racist bully attacking helpless elderly black man. Sam seemed defenseless. Worn cardigan. Counting change. Easy target. Wrong. Hidden under that cardigan was a purple heart. In his phone was a contact. James, Director, Homeland Security. Maria, the waitress, knew the truth. "That idiot has no clue," she whispered. Sam pulled out his phone. His hands didn't shake. Military training runs deep. Brad Morrison had just slapped the father of America's most powerful man. Federal backup was one phone call away. Hit subscribe. This bully is about to learn what real power looks like. 30 minutes earlier, Murphy's Diner buzzed with typical Tuesday morning energy. Steam rose from fresh coffee pots. Local farmers filled corner booths, discussing crop prices and weather forecasts. The smell of bacon and hash browns filled the air in Millbrook, population 3,847, where everyone supposedly knew everyone. Sam Washington pushed through the glass door at exactly 7:30, just like every Tuesday for the past 3 years. His routine never varied. Black coffee, wheat toast, exact change counted from a worn leather wallet. The elderly black man moved with quiet dignity, his navy cardigan showing its age but pressed neat and clean. Maria Santos looked up from behind the counter and smiled. The Latina waitress had memorized his order long ago. "Morning, Mr. Washington." The usual. "Please, Maria." "Thank you." She poured his coffee without asking how he liked it. Black, no sugar, no cream. Simple man with simple needs, or so it appeared to anyone watching. What most people missed were the small details. The way Sam sat with his back to the wall scanning exits. The precise way he folded his napkin. The American flag pin on his collar that never seemed to tarnish. The American Legion pin beside it, both positioned with military precision. His phone buzzed. A text message. "Dad, big meeting with the cabinet today. Love you. James." Sam smiled and typed back slowly with one finger. "Proud of you, son. Be safe." Across the diner, Brad Morrison sat in his usual corner booth, scrolling through social media on his phone. His construction crew uniform was clean this early in the morning, but his attitude was already dirty. He'd been coming to Murphy's for 2 years, ever since the new housing development brought different types to Millbrook. Brad's eyes tracked Sam's movements with obvious disdain. The old man's careful counting of quarters, his polite nods to other customers, the way he quietly minded his own business. Everything about Sam Washington seemed to irritate Brad Morrison on a cellular level. "Don't know why they let just anyone in here these days," Brad muttered to his breakfast companion, loud enough for surrounding tables to hear. The businessman at the next table shifted uncomfortably. Mrs. Patterson, the mayor's wife, glanced up from her newspaper with a frown. But nobody said anything. They never did. Maria's jaw tightened as she refilled coffee cups. She'd watched this pattern develop over months. Brad's comments are getting bolder. He starts getting more aggressive. His jokes are getting less funny and more pointed. She'd thought about saying something to her manager, but Brad was a regular customer who tipped well. Money talked louder than dignity in small-town diners. Outside the window, college student Tommy Carter was setting up his camera equipment. His assignment was simple: document real small-town America for his journalism class. He'd chosen Murphy's Diner because it looked authentic, timeless, the kind of place where honest people shared honest conversations. Tommy adjusted his lens and checked his audio levels. His professor had emphasized capturing genuine moments, unguarded interactions that revealed character. He had no idea he was about to document something that would reach the highest levels of American government. The security camera above Sam's table blinked its red recording light. The diner's owner had installed the system 6 months ago after a rash of petty thefts. What he hadn't anticipated was how valuable that footage might become. Sam's phone buzzed again. This time it was a news alert about federal funding for rural law enforcement programs. He read it carefully, then deleted it without comment. Some habits from his son's world had rubbed off on him over the years. Brad Morrison was getting restless. His breakfast companion had left for work, and he found himself with time to kill before his construction shift started. Time to kill and an elderly black man who represented everything he thought was wrong with his changing town. The morning crowd began to thin. Farmers headed to their fields. Office workers drove to their jobs in the county seat. The traveling businessman settled his check and left. Soon it would be just the regulars, the lingerers, and one old man who didn't know his peaceful Tuesday morning was about to become a nightmare. Maria glanced at her phone. A text from her cousin Tommy outside. Getting great footage of authentic small-town life. This place is perfect. She looked out the window and waved. Tommy waved back, still filming. Neither of them realized they were about to become key witnesses to an assault that would go viral within hours. At 7:47 a.m., Tommy Carter positioned his camera for the perfect shot of small-town America. He had no idea he was about to capture evidence that would reach the Director of Homeland Security's desk before lunchtime. At 7:45 a.m., Brad Morrison's patience ran out. He'd been watching Sam Washington for 15 minutes, and the old man's quiet contentment made his blood boil. Brad stood up, work boots deliberately loud on the linoleum. He crossed the diner with calculated steps, drawing every eye in the place. Sam looked up as the shadow fell across his table. Brad loomed over him, arms crossed, an expensive watch glinting. "Morning," Sam said politely. "You seem real comfortable here," Brad said loud enough for everyone to hear. "Real comfortable for someone who doesn't belong." The diner went silent. Forks stopped moving. Maria's hand moved toward her phone. "I'm sorry," Sam said. "This ain't your kind of place, old man. Makes decent people uncomfortable having your type around." Mrs. Patterson shifted nervously. Fire Chief Rodriguez tensed. The diner held its breath. Sam had faced worse than playground bullies. But this was about dignity, about the right to exist in peace. "I'm just having coffee," Sam said quietly. "I'm not bothering anyone." "That's where you're wrong." Brad leaned closer. "Your being here bothers me. Bothers a lot of good people." Outside, Tommy Carter's camera captured every word. He'd started filming local color. Now he was documenting something much darker. The security camera recorded everything with perfect clarity. Audio, video, timestamps that would become crucial evidence. Sam reached for his wallet to leave, but Brad's hand slammed down on the table. "Don't walk away when I'm talking to you." Coffee sloshed. Quarters scattered across the table and hit the floor. "Sir, please," Sam said. "I don't want trouble." "Trouble?" Brad laughed without humor. "Old man, you are trouble. Everyone likes you, acting like you own this place." Maria pulled out her phone and started recording. She'd been silent too long. Rodriguez half stood, unsure how to intervene. Mrs. Patterson looked around frantically. Sam stood slowly, military bearing evident despite his age. Something in his posture made Brad step back. "I'm leaving now," Sam said with quiet dignity. But Brad wasn't done. He'd started something in front of an audience. His pride wouldn't let him back down. Brad stepped sideways, blocking Sam's path to the door. "You'll leave when I say you can leave." Physical intimidation, public humiliation, witnessed by dozens and recorded by multiple cameras. Brad Morrison had crossed a line that would destroy his life. At 7:52 a.m., Tommy Carter zoomed in, his journalism training recognizing something significant. He had no idea he was documenting an assault that would reach federal investigators. Sam Washington stood trapped between the table and Brad Morrison's bulk. The construction worker's chest puffed out, feeding off the attention from the silent diner. This was his moment, his chance to put someone in their place with an audience watching. "Please move," Sam said, his voice steady despite the situation. "Make me, old man." Brad's lips curled into a sneer. "What you gonna do? Call your mommy?" The racist taunt hit its target. Sam's jaw tightened, but his military training held. Never escalate, never give them an excuse. But Brad Morrison wasn't looking for excuses anymore. "You people think you can just waltz in anywhere," Brad continued, his voice rising. "Think you own everything. Well, this is my town and I decide who belongs." Sam stepped to the left, trying to go around. Brad shifted to block him. "I said you're not leaving." That's when Brad shoved him. Hard. Sam stumbled backward into the table. His hip caught the edge. Coffee cups crashed to the floor. The sound of breaking ceramic filled the diner like gunshots. "Hey!" Fire Chief Rodriguez stood up. "That's enough!" But Brad was just getting started. The shove had felt good. The power, the control, the way the old man's eyes widened in shock. He wanted more. "Mind your own business, Rodriguez," Brad snarled, without taking his eyes off Sam. "Unless you want some too." Maria Santos raised her phone higher, making sure she captured everything. Her hands shook, but the video stayed steady. "Stop it, Brad!" "He's done nothing wrong." "Shut up, Maria. You want to keep your job? You'll stay out of this." The threat silenced her words, but not her camera. She kept recording. Sam tried to steady himself against the table. At 72, a hard shove could mean broken bones, serious injury. But what hurt more than his hip was the humiliation. The way every person in the diner was watching him be degraded. "Now you're going to apologize," Brad demanded, "for making decent folks uncomfortable." "I apologize if my presence upset you," Sam said quietly. "But I've done nothing wrong." Wrong answer. Brad's face turned red. If you upset me, you arrogant piece of—" The slap came without warning. Brad's open hand cracked across Sam's cheek with brutal force. The sound echoed through the diner like a whip crack. Sam's head snapped to the side. His American flag pin caught the light as he staggered. Complete silence. Then chaos. "Jesus Christ!" Rodriguez moved toward them. "Oh my God!" Mrs. Patterson gasped. "You asshole!" Maria screamed. Outside, Tommy Carter's camera zoomed in automatically. Inside, Maria's phone captured the perfect angle. The security camera recorded it all in high definition. Sam's hand went to his burning cheek. Blood trickled from where Brad's ring had cut the skin. For a moment, the elderly veteran looked exactly like what he appeared to be, a helpless old man being brutalized by a racist thug. But then something shifted in Sam's posture. His shoulders straightened, his chin lifted. 72 years of dignity and military training kicked in. "You just made a serious mistake," Sam said quietly. Brad laughed. "Yeah? What are you going to do about it, Grandpa?" Sam reached into his pocket. Not for a weapon, for his phone. "I'm going to call my son." "Your son?" Brad's laughter got louder. "What's he gonna do? Come fight your battles?" Sam scrolled to his contacts. The first name on the list? James, Director, Homeland Security. But Brad Morrison was too high on adrenaline and racism to notice the phone. He was performing for his audience, drunk on power and applause that wasn't coming. "Hit me back, old man," Brad demanded. "Come on! Show everyone what you're really made of." Rodriguez stepped closer. "Brad, you need to stop this right now." "Or what?" Brad spun around. "You gonna arrest me?" "For what? Teaching some respect?" That's when Sam dialed. The phone rang once, twice, then a voice answered. "Dad? Is everything okay?" The diner went dead quiet. Something in that voice, that immediate concern, that authority. This wasn't someone's cousin or nephew. This was someone important. "James," Sam said calmly. "I'm fine, but there's been an incident." Brad Morrison's laughter died in his throat. "Dad, are you hurt?" "Where are you? I can have agents there in 20 minutes. The voice came through Sam's phone speaker, clear and authoritative. Every person in Murphy's diner heard it. Every phone camera captured it. The security system recorded it all. Brad Morrison's face went white. "Agents?" he whispered. "No, son," Sam said calmly into the phone. "I'm not seriously injured. But I wanted you to hear about this directly before it hits the news. Before it hits the dad, what happened? Who hurt you?" Sam looked directly at Brad Morrison, who had gone from aggressive bully to statue in 5 seconds. "A man named Brad Morrison just assaulted me at Murphy's Diner in Millbrook. It's all been recorded. The silence in the diner was deafening." "Sir?" Maria approached Sam carefully. Is that really your son?" Sam nodded. "James Washington. He runs the Department of Homeland Security." Fire Chief Rodriguez slapped his forehead. "Jesus Christ, Brad, do you know what you just did?" Mrs. Patterson gasped so loud it echoed. "The James Washington, the director?" "Dad, I'm sending a protective detail immediately," James's voice continued through the speaker. "And our legal team will want statements from all witnesses." The word legal hit Brad like ice water. His mouth opened and closed like a fish. His gold rings suddenly felt heavy on his fingers. His expensive watch seemed to tick louder. "Oh shit," he whispered. "Oh shit, oh shit, oh shit." Maria's Instagram Live exploded. The viewer count jumped from 50 to 200 to 800 to 3,000 in real time. Comments flooded the screen. "OMG, is that the Homeland Security guy's dad? Brad Morrison about to get destroyed. Screenshot everything. Someone's going to federal prison." Outside, Tommy Carter nearly dropped his camera. He'd been filming what he thought was small-town racism. Instead, he'd captured an assault on the father of one of the most powerful men in America. "Dad, are the local authorities there yet?" James's voice cut through the chaos. "Not yet," Sam replied. "But Fire Chief Rodriguez is here." "He's a witness." Rodriguez stepped forward, his face pale. "Mr. Washington, I saw everything. Brad Morrison assaulted you unprovoked." Brad found his voice, panicking, making it crack. "Wait, wait! This is just a misunderstanding. No harm done, right, Sam? I mean, Mr. Washington? Sir?" Sam looked at the man who'd called him garbage 5 minutes ago. The man who'd shoved him, slapped him, humiliated him in front of a room full of people. "The harm was done when you assumed who I was based on how I look," Sam said quietly. "But I didn't know. I didn't know who your son was. And that makes it acceptable?" Brad's face crumpled. The reality was sinking in. He'd just committed a federal crime, on camera, against the father of the Director of Homeland Security. Tommy Carter's hands shook as he uploaded the raw footage to YouTube. His title, "Shocking Racist Attacks Director of Homeland Security's Father, Live." The video would hit 50,000 views within the hour. James's voice came through the phone again. "Dad, I need you to know that federal investigators will be involved. This isn't because of my position. It's because what happened to you was a civil rights violation." Brad Morrison sat down heavily in the nearest chair. His construction crew t-shirt was soaked with sweat. His face had gone gray. "I'm sorry," he whispered. "I'm so sorry. I didn't mean... I never would have." "You never would have what?" Sam asked. "Assaulted me if you knew I had powerful connections? But you were perfectly fine doing it when you thought I was powerless? The truth of it hit everyone in the room. This wasn't about mistaken identity. This was about character. About who you are when you think no one important is watching. Within 30 minutes, this local incident would be on the radar of federal investigators, but Brad Morrison's troubles were just beginning. Within 20 minutes, Sheriff Patricia Hayes arrived at Murphy's Diner, her body camera recording everything. She'd known Sam Washington for years as a quiet, regular customer. She'd also known Brad Morrison as a troublemaker with connections to local contractors and politicians. The political calculations began immediately. "Morning, Sam." Brad Hayes surveyed the scene, noting the broken coffee cups, the witnesses with phones out, the tension thick enough to cut. "Heard there was an incident." Maria stepped forward, phone still recording. "Sheriff, Brad Morrison assaulted Mr. Washington. I got it all on video." Hayes reviewed the footage on Maria's phone. Her expression grew increasingly uncomfortable as she watched Brad's racist language, the shove, the brutal slap. "Brad, I'm going to need a statement." "Sam, you want to press charges?" Sam considered carefully. "I want this documented properly. Whatever happens next should follow the law." Meanwhile, the first news van pulled up outside, then another. Tommy Carter's video had hit 100,000 views. The hashtag Millbrook Diner was trending regionally. Mayor Thompson called Hayes from City Hall. "Patricia, can we handle this quietly? Tourism season starts next month. Bad publicity could hurt everyone." Hayes lowered her voice. "Tom, this is the director of Homeland Security's father." "There's no handling this quietly." "Jesus Christ. How bad is it?" "Bad enough that I'm expecting federal investigators by lunch." The real estate agent who'd been eating breakfast slipped out the back door, already texting his developer clients. "Property values are about to tank. Pull all Millbrook listings." Local radio host Mike Stevens broke into regular programming. "Folks, we're getting reports of an alleged incident at Murphy's Diner this morning. Details are unclear, but both parties claim to be victims of a misunderstanding." The spin machine started immediately. Black SUVs appeared downtown 20 minutes later. Not for Sam, for security assessment. Standard protocol when a cabinet member's family was involved in any public incident. The regional news stations picked up the story by 10 a.m. Alleged assault at small-town diner involves family member of high-ranking federal official. Local man claims incident blown out of proportion by outside agitators. Federal civil rights investigators reportedly en route to Millbrook. The town began choosing sides. Team Justice grew rapidly. Maria's Instagram followers jumped from 800 to 15,000. Regional civil rights groups started making calls. Veteran organizations expressed outrage. The hashtag # Respect Our Elders began trending. Team Deflection circled the wagons. Local Facebook groups exploded with comments. "Small town values under attack." "Political correctness destroying America." "Outside forces exploiting minor dispute." Brad Morrison, advised by his hastily hired lawyer, released a statement through the local newspaper. "I sincerely regret any misunderstanding that occurred this morning. Mr. Washington is a valued member of our community. Sometimes tensions run high in small businesses, and words get taken out of context. No mention of the physical assault, no acknowledgement of the racist language, no actual apology. The half-hearted statement only made things worse." Sam declined most interview requests, but agreed to speak with the regional news station. "This isn't about my son's position in government. It's about how we treat each other as human beings, how we see each other, whether we judge people by their character or their appearance." His dignity in the face of hatred made the story go viral faster. By noon, security experts were analyzing the camera footage. Clear evidence of premeditated assault. Racial language unmistakable. Textbook civil rights violation. Sheriff Hayes found herself in an impossible position. She couldn't bury this. Too many cameras, too much attention. But she also couldn't afford to alienate the local power structure that kept her in office. Her statement to reporters was carefully neutral. Investigation ongoing. All parties are cooperating. We take any allegations of assault seriously. Translation: buying time, hoping it would blow over. It wouldn't. Corporate headquarters for Murphy's Diner chain issued their own statement. We are investigating this morning's incident and do not condone discrimination or violence of any kind. Brad's lawyer tried damage control. My client maintains his innocence. The video footage has been taken out of context and doesn't show the full situation. But there was no context that made racist assault acceptable. By 2 p.m., Tommy Carter's video had reached 500,000 views. The comments section became a battleground. The local story was becoming a national symbol. As the story went national, investigators discovered this wasn't an isolated incident. Phone records and social media posts revealed a pattern that went deeper than anyone imagined. 48 hours after the assault, federal civil rights investigators arrived in Millbrook. Agent Sarah Carter led the team, not because of James Washington's position, but because the video evidence had triggered automatic review protocols for hate crimes. What they discovered shocked everyone. This wasn't an isolated incident. This was a pattern. Agent Carter spread case files across the conference table at the sheriff's department. Each folder represented a different victim, a different incident, but the same ugly truth. March 2024. Elderly Hispanic man accused of shoplifting at Millbrook Grocery. Security footage later proved his innocence, but not before he was publicly humiliated and banned from the store. January 2024, Black family questioned about belonging at the community center during their child's basketball game. Police called for trespassing on public property. November 2023, Native American veteran challenged at the voting location, required to show extra identification despite having proper credentials. September 2023, Asian college students reported as suspicious for studying at the public library after dark. Every incident involved minorities. Every incident involved public humiliation. Every incident was dismissed as a misunderstanding. Agent Carter's team found something else: a digital paper trail. Email chains between city council members discussing tourism concerns and changing demographics. So, private Facebook groups with names like Millbrook Heritage Foundation and Citizens for Traditional Values. Coordination between local business owners to make certain customers feel unwelcome. The money trail was even more damning. Brad Morrison had donated $5,000 to the Millbrook Business Development Fund. That fund had lobbied for enhanced security measures throughout downtown. Those security measures included additional cameras and safety patrols, but only in certain neighborhoods, the ones where minorities had recently moved. Financial records showed a deliberate economic strategy. 3 minority-owned businesses had closed in 18 months. Property values in their areas had dropped, making them attractive to developers connected to city officials. It wasn't random racism. It was a systematic exclusion for profit. Social media excavation revealed Brad Morrison's true thoughts. His Facebook history showed years of posts about protecting small-town values and maintaining community standards. Private group messages used language that would make a Klansman blush. More devastating were the deleted posts. Cyber forensics recovered messages from the night before the assault. Old man comes in acting like he owns the place. Time to remind him where he stands. Community meeting tomorrow about the problem people. Might need to make an example. Some folks need to learn respect. Sometimes lessons get physical. Sheriff Hayes's role became clear too. Her response patterns showed deliberate negligence. Incident reports filed but never investigated. Complaints labeled as misunderstandings without follow-up. Media contacts minimized or buried entirely. When pressed by federal investigators, Hayes admitted she'd received over a dozen complaints about discriminatory treatment in 18 months. Her action on those complaints? Zero. The witnesses began finding their voices. Janet Williams, the bank teller, came forward with internal documents showing Brad Morrison's loan applications contained discriminatory language about undesirable demographic shifts affecting property values. Carlos Rodriguez revealed he'd been documenting incidents for 6 months, keeping his own files because official channels were useless. Mrs. Patterson, the mayor's wife, provided the biggest bombshell. Her husband had received multiple complaints about harassment and had deliberately chosen to ignore them. He said it wasn't worth the political cost, she admitted, that voters would blame him for attracting outside attention. The institutional audit revealed systematic failure. Federal funding for community policing programs had been misdirected. Civil rights compliance records were fabricated. Grant applications contained false information about diversity and inclusion efforts. Local journalists uncovered the broader network. Millbrook wasn't unique. Similar patterns existed in 7 neighboring towns. Coordinated social media campaigns, shared legal strategies, political donations linking officials across county lines. The resistance had been organized, funded, strategic. Dr. Rebecca Martinez, civil rights attorney, arrived with her team to represent victims. She'd seen this before. Small towns using economic pressure and social intimidation to maintain racial exclusion. This represents a modern form of sundown town tactics, she explained to reporters. Instead of signs saying certain people aren't welcome, they use systematic harassment, economic pressure, and official indifference. The scope was staggering. Financial records, email chains, social media coordination, witness testimony, all painting a picture of deliberate, systematic racism designed to exclude minorities from economic and social participation. Community members formed the Millbrook Unity Coalition. Maria Santos co-founded it with Fire Chief Rodriguez, Mrs. Patterson, Reverend Johnson from the Black Church, and Rabbi Sarah Miller representing interfaith support. Their goal wasn't just justice for Sam Washington, it was dismantling the entire system of exclusion. As evidence mounted, Brad Morrison realized his problems extended far beyond one slapped veteran. Anonymous threats began arriving at investigators' hotel rooms. Someone didn't want the full truth coming out. 72 hours after the assault, Sam Washington's quiet life became a nightmare. Phone calls started at 3 a.m. Heavy breathing, racist slurs, death threats that made federal agents wince. "Your boy can't protect you forever, old man. We know where you live." Accidents happen to people who don't mind their business. The harassment escalated. Sam's garbage scattered across his lawn every morning, his mailbox smashed with a baseball bat, racial slurs spray-painted on his garage door in blood-red letters. Worse than property damage was the isolation. Neighbors avoided eye contact. The grocery clerk pretended not to see him. His Tuesday coffee routine became impossible. Maria Santos faced her own terror campaign. Anonymous messages flooded her social media. Immigration status can change quickly for loudmouth waitresses. Your work schedule is posted online with your home address. Her followers received coordinated harassment. Fake accounts posted her personal information. Someone created deep-fake videos showing her vandalizing property. Tommy Carter's college experience turned hellish. His email was hacked, sending racist memes to professors. Academic records leaked online. Fake accounts impersonated him, posting violent threats. The cyber attacks were sophisticated, coordinated. Someone with resources was orchestrating a campaign to silence witnesses. Sheriff Hayes visited Sam privately. No body camera recording. "Look, Sam, this has gone too far. Maybe consider dropping charges, for everyone's sake?" "Whose sake?" Sam asked. "The town's. People are getting hurt. Property values dropping. Businesses are suffering." "Because I got assaulted?" "Because you made it public. Some things are better handled quietly. Are you asking me to let a racist attack slide to protect property values?" Hayes looked away. "I'm asking you to think about the consequences." I am. That's why I'm not backing down. Mayor Thompson called James directly, bypassing Sam entirely. Director Washington, your father is creating divisions. Perhaps family influence could resolve this privately. Are you suggesting I interfere with a federal investigation? Some situations require flexibility. You're calling felony assault a minor incident? The call ended abruptly. Thompson had made things worse. Brad Morrison's legal team filed nuisance lawsuits, defamation claims against Maria, copyright violations against Tommy, business interference charges against Unity Coalition supporters. The legal harassment was designed to bankrupt witnesses. Sam's health deteriorated. Blood pressure spiked. Sleep became impossible. His doctor prescribed anxiety medication. At 2 a.m. Friday, Sam sat alone in his kitchen, staring at his Purple Heart. For the first time, doubt crept in. Maybe Hayes was right. Fighting back was hurting people. Maria could lose her job. Tommy's education was at risk. His phone rang. James called from Washington. "Dad, I'm driving up." "Don't argue." "Son, I'm tired." "Maybe this isn't worth it." "What did you tell me when Bobby Martinez was bullying kids at school?" Sam remembered. "That bullies only stop when someone stands up. If you stay quiet, nothing changes. The next person might not have a son who can help." James arrived at 4 a.m., finding his father in darkness, looking older than 72. "They're trying to break you, Dad. That's what bullies do when they can't win fairly. But I'm bringing trouble to good people. If you surrender, those people face the same thing next time, with no cameras, no protection, no justice." The father-son conversation became the turning point. Sam's resolve returned. Evidence tampering began immediately. Murphy's security system suffered catastrophic failure. Sheriff's files were accidentally deleted. County servers crashed during scheduled updates. Someone was spending serious money to cover tracks. Direct threats arrived at Homeland Security. Federal officials' families aren't immune to accidents. A security detail was assigned to Sam. His privacy evaporated. Federal agents followed him everywhere. The community split into armed camps. Pro-Sam supporters organized vigils. Anti-Sam factions spread rumors about federal occupation. Financial pressure mounted. Brad's allies filed endless legal challenges. Court dates multiplied. Legal fees skyrocketed. Just when Sam considered surrender, an unexpected ally emerged with evidence that would change everything. On day 5, an unexpected ally knocked on Sam Washington's door. Dr. Rebecca Martinez, civil rights attorney from the state ACLU, didn't come alone. Behind her stood Marcus Thompson, a black cybersecurity specialist and military veteran who'd volunteered his services. "One veteran for another," Marcus said simply. Within hours, Marcus had recovered what everyone thought was lost forever. Despite the crashed security system at Murphy's Diner, he found something the saboteurs missed. Automatic cloud backup. Every deleted file, every lost video, every piece of evidence they'd tried to destroy was sitting in a server backup that updated every 30 minutes. "Amateur hour," Marcus muttered, pulling up pristine footage of Brad Morrison's assault. They deleted local files but forgot about cloud synchronization. Dr. Martinez spread new evidence across Sam's kitchen table. The breakthrough came from an unexpected source: Maria's phone case. Her cousin had installed a tiny hidden camera for her safety after previous incidents. The device, smaller than a quarter, had captured Brad Morrison's immediate reaction after the assault. Brad to his assistant. "Get me Mayor Thompson on the phone. We need to control this narrative before it explodes nationally." The smoking gun proved premeditation and conspiracy. Marcus's digital forensics revealed more devastating evidence. Phone records showed 47 calls between Brad Morrison and Mayor Thompson in 3 days following the assault. A private group chat among Millbrook business leaders contained explicit racial language and coordinated response strategies. The deleted social media posts told the real story. Phase 1 working perfectly. 3 minority businesses closed this year, property values stabilizing in target neighborhoods. Need to maintain pressure on remaining problem residents. Small gestures send big messages. If the old man's family has connections, we handle it like the others. Money talks louder than justice. Janet Williams, the bank teller, came forward with internal documents that shattered Brad's defense. His business loan applications contained discriminatory language about demographic concerns affecting property values. Bank meeting minutes discussed maintaining community standards through selective lending practices. The financial conspiracy was massive. Property development deals were contingent on demographic management. Insurance claims against minority-owned businesses showed suspicious patterns. City contracts favored companies that supported the exclusion campaign. The veteran network mobilized nationwide. Colonel Sarah Davis, retired, issued a statement. American veterans don't abandon each other. Sam Washington served his country with honor. We stand with him. Social media exploded with support. Number sign veterans. For Sam trended nationally. Military bases shared Sam's story. VA hospitals posted solidarity messages. Dr. Martinez assembled a legal powerhouse. Federal civil rights prosecutors joined the team. Military legal advocates offered pro bono services. Media law specialists protected witnesses from harassment. Maria Santos found her voice through the Unity Coalition. Her video statement went viral. I'm not just fighting for my job. I'm fighting for every person who's been made to feel like they don't belong in their own community. Tommy Carter's documentary project evolved into a full investigation. Additional footage surfaced from his original filming. Interviews with affected families. Historical context of exclusion practices. Expert analysis of systematic discrimination patterns. The reversal of intimidation began. Dr. Martinez filed restraining orders against the harassment campaigns. Nuisance lawsuits were dismissed with prejudice. Federal protection extended to all witnesses. Marcus upgraded security for everyone involved. Not federal agents, private security veterans supporting Sam's cause. The harassment stopped immediately when perpetrators realized they were being watched by professionals. The evidence vault grew daily. 47 hours of video documentation, 200 pages of written testimony. Financial records spanning 3 years. Digital communications providing coordination. Expert analysis confirming civil rights violations. Independent journalists arrived from major outlets. National civil rights organizations sent representatives. Legal scholars offered academic support. The small-town story became a case study in modern resistance to racism. Sam regained his strength, seeing widespread community support. I thought I was fighting alone. Now I see this was never about just me. The opposition's strategy backfired spectacularly. Their harassment campaign had generated more evidence against them. Their legal intimidation brought national attention. Their financial pressure triggered a federal financial crimes investigation. Mrs. Patterson, the mayor's wife, provided the final devastating blow. She'd been secretly recording her husband's phone calls for months, documenting his role in the conspiracy. I couldn't stay silent while my husband enabled systematic racism, she told investigators. Her recordings revealed coordination between city officials, business leaders, and law enforcement to maintain racial exclusion. The town meeting was scheduled for Friday night. Both sides prepared for the final confrontation. The pro-justice coalition had documented evidence, witness testimony, legal support, and national attention. They offered a reconciliation pathway, acknowledgement, accountability, and systematic reform. The resistance faction tried last-ditch intimidation, economic fear tactics, political pressure campaigns, anonymous threats against community leaders. But their power was broken. Too many people had found courage. Too much evidence was public. Too many allies had joined the fight. The night before the town meeting, someone leaked Brad Morrison's private messages to social media. Screenshots spread across every platform. His real thoughts about minorities, his coordination with officials, his celebration of successful exclusion tactics. The whole town was about to see exactly who Brad Morrison really was. Day 6 brought an explosion that shook Millbrook to its foundation. Tommy Carter's documentary trailer dropped on YouTube at 6 a.m. The Sam Washington story, When Dignity Meets Power. 500,000 views in 6 hours, 1 million by noon. Comments flooded faster than moderators could process. #Justice, for Sam trending nationally alongside #Millbrook Accountability. Celebrity endorsements poured in. Professional athletes shared the video. Musicians posted solidarity messages. The leaked screenshots of Brad Morrison's private messages went viral simultaneously. His real thoughts, captured in his own words. These people need to learn their place. Small actions send big messages. If we don't maintain standards, property values tank, and our community changes forever. The old man got lucky with his son's connections. Most don't have that privilege. The racist language was undeniable. The coordination was documented. The conspiracy was exposed. Reverend Johnson organized an interfaith prayer vigil that drew 300 people from 5 counties. Military Honor Guard volunteers stood at attention. Local business owners attended, many publicly for the first time. Media coverage was respectful and extensive. The economic response was swift and devastating for Brad's supporters. Murphy's Diner faced a boycott that cut business by 60%. Corporate headquarters received thousands of angry emails. Franchise agreement review was initiated immediately. Competitor diners saw business surge as customers voted with their wallets. Maria Santos launched Truth from the Front Lines on Instagram Live, attracting 50,000 regular viewers. Daily updates from Millbrook, witness interviews, community healing conversations, educational content about civil rights history. Each live stream gained momentum. Viewers shared personal stories of discrimination. Families posted photos with service members. The ##RespectOurElders connected generations of Americans who'd faced similar struggles. Tommy Carter's journalism program provided an additional platform through Small Town, Big Courage. Live-streamed conversations with experts, legal process explanations, and community voices that humanized the larger struggle. State-level politicians felt the pressure. The governor issued a statement supporting the federal investigation. The Civil Rights Commission launched a broader inquiry into rural discrimination patterns. The Tourism Board quietly distanced itself from Millbrook leadership. National attention intensified when congressional representatives issued statements supporting Sam. The Veterans Affairs Department offered resources. National civil rights organizations mobilized their networks. Corporate accountability accelerated. Murphy's Diner CEO was forced to issue a public apology and announce mandatory diversity training for all franchises. A community investment fund was established with $500,000 for inclusive economic development. Local business pressure mounted as a Chamber of Commerce called emergency meetings. Property developers reassessed Millbrook investments. Insurance companies reviewed risk assessments for discriminatory business practices. Banking relationships faced scrutiny as federal regulators investigated lending patterns. The counter-movement organized its final push. Save Our Community rally was scheduled to compete with the town meeting. Outside political groups arrived with professional organizers. Social media disinformation campaigns spread false information about federal overreach and constitutional violations. But their messaging fell flat. Too much evidence was public. Too many local voices supported justice. Too many allies had joined the movement. Security concerns escalated as extremist groups threatened to disrupt the town meeting. Federal authorities monitored communications. Local law enforcement requested state backup. Community leaders organized peaceful security protocols. The momentum peaked as dawn broke on town meeting day. National media trucks filled downtown Millbrook. Community members arrived from surrounding counties. Legal teams finalized presentations for the evening showdown. Sam Washington stood at his kitchen window, an American flag pin positioned precisely on his cardigan collar. Today, Millbrook would decide its future. Today, dignity would face down hatred in front of the entire nation. The backup Brad Morrison never saw coming had arrived. Not just federal badges and powerful connections, an entire movement of Americans who believed justice wasn't negotiable. 7 p.m., Millbrook Community Center packed beyond capacity. 400 seats, 600 people. Overflow crowd outside watching live stream on phones. National media filled designated sections. Security visible but professional. Sam Washington entered with quiet dignity, an American flag pin prominent on his cardigan. Half the auditorium rose in standing ovation. He nodded respectfully, took his front row seat. Behind him sat Maria Santos, Tommy Carter, Fire Chief Rodriguez, Mrs. Patterson. The Unity Coalition in full force. Brad Morrison arrived with his legal team, avoiding all eye contact. He slumped in the back with remaining supporters, face gray with stress. His expensive watch felt heavy. His gold rings caught no light. Federal mediator Linda Hayes called for order. Experienced, neutral, commanded immediate respect. We're here to address the assault of Sam Washington and determine community response. Evidence will be presented. All sides will be heard. Round 1. Video evidence. Tommy Carter's documentary clips played on massive screens. The original assault footage, complete and unedited. Security camera angles showing clear aggression. Audio enhancement revealing every racist word. Brad's immediate conspiracy planning with Mayor Thompson. Gasps rippled through the crowd at footage they hadn't seen. Several Brad supporters shifted uncomfortably. Cell phones recorded everything. Round 2. Pattern documentation. Dr. Martinez presented systematic evidence with laser precision. Timeline of 12 incidents over 18 months. Financial connections proving coordination. Email chains showing deliberate planning. Expert testimony confirming civil rights violations. This wasn't random racism, Dr. Martinez stated clearly. This was systematic exclusion for economic gain. The testimony phase began. Maria Santos approached the microphone, hands steady despite the cameras. I kept silent too long because I was afraid. Fear of losing my job, fear of retaliation. But I learned that silence enables cruelty. Her voice grew stronger. I won't be silent anymore when people are treated as less than human. Applause erupted from half the crowd. Fire Chief Rodriguez testified next. As a public servant, I failed this community by not acting on what I witnessed. I documented harassment but didn't report it officially. My silence enabled escalation. He faced Brad directly. That ends today. Mrs. Patterson's testimony shattered remaining defenses. I can no longer protect my husband's political career while he enables systematic racism. She revealed private conversations, documented pressure tactics, admitted knowledge of the exclusion conspiracy. Leadership means choosing what's right over what's convenient. The crowd sat in stunned silence. Sam Washington rose slowly, commanding immediate attention. I didn't serve my country to come home and face hatred in my own community. His voice carried decades of dignity. This isn't about my son's position. It's about every parent who wants their children to live with respect. Pause. Pin drop silence. I'm willing to forgive Brad Morrison, but forgiveness requires acknowledgement, and acknowledgement requires change. Brad's lawyer whispered frantically. Brad stood, face flushed red. This has been blown completely out of proportion. One bad moment doesn't define someone's character. Dr. Martinez interrupted calmly. Actually, Mr. Morrison, we have additional evidence received this afternoon. the game-changing moment. Recently discovered email from Brad Morrison to business associates sent 3 days before the assault. Dr. Martinez read from printed evidence. Phase 1 successful. 3 minority businesses closed this year. Property values stabilizing in target areas. Tourism committee pleased with demographic management. Maintain pressure on remaining targets for Phase 2 completion. The auditorium exploded. Half the crowd was shocked, half vindicated. Brad's face was completely white. Even his supporters stared at him with horror. Mediator Hayes called for order. Mr. Morrison, would you like to respond? Long pause. Brad realized his complete isolation. His own supporters were backing away. I may have used poor judgment in some communications. Sam Washington stood again, grace under pressure. Brad, the measure of a person isn't their mistakes. It's how they respond when truth comes to light. The resolution proposals were clear. Immediate actions. Brad Morrison's detailed public apology. Resignation from all leadership positions. Financial restitution to affected businesses. Mandatory civil rights training for city employees. Systematic changes. Independent oversight of law enforcement. Civilian Review Board for discrimination complaints. Inclusive economic development. Community healing programs. The community vote was decisive. 347 in favor of full accountability measures. 89 against or abstaining. 164 supporting reconciliation with strict conditions. Justice had won, but healing would take time. As the crowd filed out, Sam Washington shook hands with former opponents. Dignity had triumphed over hatred. But the real test would come tomorrow, when cameras left and real change had to begin. 3 months later, Millbrook was transformed. Federal civil rights charges were filed against Brad Morrison. The $2.3 million settlement compensated affected community members. Federal monitoring of local law enforcement would continue for 3 years. Local leadership changed completely. Mayor Thompson resigned, replaced by Maria Santos in a landslide election. Sheriff Hayes retired early, with Fire Chief Rodriguez winning unanimously. 4 new Unity Platform council members were elected. Murphy's Diner reopened under new management with mandatory diversity training. 3 minority-owned businesses opened within months. The Community Investment Fund reached $500,000. Tourism campaigns advertised, Millbrook, where everyone belongs. Sam Washington returned to his quiet routine as a respected elder statesman. Every Tuesday, he still ordered coffee, black and wheat toast at Murphy's. The new management knew his order and never charged him. Maria Santos balanced mayoral duties with waitressing 1 day per week to remember where I came from. She planned Millbrook's first diversity festival. Tommy Carter's documentary won the State Journalism Award and earned him a full scholarship. His follow-up series, Small Towns, Big Change, was picked up by major networks. The healing was real. Interfaith reconciliation services drew participants across political lines. Brad Morrison attended quietly, participating in community service without publicity. Sam became a regular guest speaker at Millbrook High School. Dignity isn't something you're given. It's something you maintain. The ripple effects spread nationally. 47 communities implemented reforms using the Millbrook model. Congressional legislation was proposed based on the legal precedents. Total views reached 12.7 million. Community funds exceeded $847,000. Similar investigations launched in 23 states. 6 months later, Detective Angela Foster called Sam about a new case in Riverside County. Sam? We have another situation involving an elderly veteran. We could use someone who understands dignity under fire. Sam paused, looking at his American flag pin. Some fights are worth fighting twice, Detective. When do you need me? If this story moved you, share it. Subscribe for Part 2, The Riverside Investigation. Remember, dignity is a choice we make every day. Final metrics: 12.7 million views, $847,000 raised, 23 investigations launched. But the most important number was one. One man who refused to stay silent, proving that sometimes heroes wear cardigans and count quarters for coffee.